Hello, my name is Keith, and I'm going to do a video here about how we collect our SMF records and use them to look at our total CPU during the day. I wrote some screens using CICS Web Services and HTML and some JavaScript, and we collect the SMF records using Merle's Guide and MXG product. Very nice. And that way they can come out in a usable format that I can understand a little bit, and then I store them in a database in order to access them. So I'm going to go ahead and sign on here, and I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Okay, we're back in. There's two options here. One is total CPU, one is WebSphere SMF. I'm going to do another video on the WebSphere SMF. I have a 10-minute limit using this Screencastify product. I'll do the total CPU. We can look at the day for today, and this is our CPU running on our AOC3 LPAR. We have two separate CPU boxes. One runs all of our legacy work, our CICS, IMS, and one runs all of our new WebSphere work with Java. That way we can keep our costs down because the pricing formula with IBM. And we also like to keep an eye on this because we are paying on the rolling 4-hour average for the month. So all you need is a few bad hours and your costs can go way up for the month. So we try to keep an eye on what's running. You can see here that we had a period that was almost 80%, or it was 80%. So if I look at that, I can tell that it's using a little bit of DB2 distributed. There was a batch job running. It's not a lot of CPU there. There's a little bit in this job, which runs a Java application. And our flagship application is the blue. It runs in that server. And I could drill down with this once I get to WebSphere and try to determine what was going on, because I could look at the individual task records, where this is all just summary data from the SMF30 records at 15-minute intervals. I've thought about possibly trying to change the interval to 10 minutes. It might be a little more timely that way, because the interval starts based on when the job started. So it's not like you get good data on the 15-minute interval, like 8 o'clock, 8:15. 8:30, you almost need 30 or 40 minutes past the time that you might have had a problem before you can look with this tool to see it. You can always use other tools, your Capitalist or your CPC LPAR, you have SysView and DA screens, activity screens, RMF, CMF, whichever one you have. So that those would also help you determine what's going on at the moment. But a lot of times it's a little afterwards, the fact that we realize we have a problem. Although we even send ourselves pages when our CPU runs high for 2 10-minute intervals, just so we can get on it and look pretty quickly and see what's going on. I didn't get any pages today because I didn't have 2 intervals. Well, that's not true. I did get a page actually, because it's based on 10-minute intervals, or is it 5-minute intervals, I believe, to be precise. And so if you have 2 of those, and I believe we did it during this period of time, over 72%, or I think what we have it set at. So I can look for the full day. This started at 8 o'clock, but I could go in and look before that, and I can look at yesterday's and last week's, and I can look for each processor. This one's running CICS work. Those are CICS job names. It was pretty high during the day. I think there was some other activity running. It was high during the morning, a little better in the afternoon. Here's some of our batch work running afterwards, after hours. Let's go back, and we can also graph some of this. I'm using a tool called Google Visualization, and it only runs on Chrome, I believe. And I think you also need access to their site to run it. I don't know if you could load all the scripts down to your individual system and run it from there, but it runs pretty good the way it is. It helps out looking at trends. I will go back a couple of months before we got our new processor and look at every Wednesday. And I could change the hour intervals, just look at the morning or the afternoon, which is helpful to look at peaks, but I'll just leave it on 8 to 5 for now. Okay, here we have a dynamic graph of our CPU over the last couple of months, every Wednesday. You can see when we put the new processor in, all of our zap work rolled down into our zips. We got more engines. We're running the zip and zap together using zap on zip option, and hardly changed the trend line from what it was before. So that was good. At one time, we were running very high zap on this processor, and it turns out we changed an option in our WebSphere garbage collection that really helped. Got back about 20%. Nice option. I think it's standard in 8.5, but in WAS 7 it was not the standard. GenCon, I think. Someone from IBM helped us realize that was a much more efficient garbage collection tool. Our general processor is still running pretty well. We hope to get back a little bit more of that because this is all WebSphere work. When we go to WebSphere 8.5 and Java 171, supposedly the Z13 that we've got will utilize those products much better and get us back a little more CPU, which is good because we have a lot of projects on the books to come up in the future. You can never have too much CPU, it seems like. So let's go back. I don't know if I've missed anything for this video. Please leave a comment or ask a question. I'll check and try to answer them if you want to do that. Thank you for viewing the video and have a nice day.